It's a common joke, or criticism, that when playing RPGs, especially turn-based ones with random encounters, the player will hear the intro to the battle theme 8,000,000 times, and that's completely true. The fact is, most of these games are spent in the overworld or fighting regular enemies with these tracks in the background. So when players are literally bound to hear these regular battle themes hundreds if not thousands of times over the course of your game, it is ridiculously important to balance making the tracks fun to listen to, but not grating or overly repetitive. I think I can name more than a few instances of video game tracks being way too basic to warrant the amount of time the player has to spend listening to them. And the thing is, if your regular battle theme is that grating pain to listen to track, it can be entirely ruining for the whole experience. So I thought I'd come on here and talk about why these battle themes are so important, and more interestingly for me, get to highlight a couple of my favorite regular battle themes. Just for fair warning, I am kind of a JRPG guy, so that's mostly what I'm going to be talking about. But hey, if I miss yours, make sure to comment about it below. So one thing that I think is the most important, or at least one of the most important aspects of these themes, is that they instantly set the tone for the entire adventure. A game about a lighthearted journey should be accompanied by an equally lighthearted theme. Take Pokemon's battle themes, the wild battle themes. They may have been more intense back in the days of like Red and Green, but even then musically the stage is set for what is a fun journey, one of discovery, one of adventure. And when you listen to the wild battle theme from Generation 7, it's obvious that the journey is way more playful than it is intense. Now listen to the track from Octopath 2 that is literally titled Normal Battle 1. Off the jump, it's more intense. You can hear that the journey you're about to go on isn't so laid back and playful. These 8 travelers have missions to accomplish, dreams to realize, and places to be, and the enemy standing in their way is an obstacle, a direct obstacle, that they have to get out of their way. And that's how these themes do more than establish tone. They represent the characters you're fighting with. Trails in the Sky is a wonderful example of this. In the first game, you play as a young Estelle Bright, who's going on a journey around her country for the first time with some of her closest friends. So, the battle theme is upbeat, it's light, it's youthful. It represents Estelle. She has ambitions, but ultimately, this is a pretty laid-back journey that she's about to go on, at least at the start of it. She's a long way from adulthood, and even the track's name, Sophisticated Fight, comes off a bit like she wants to come off as more mature and sophisticated than she really is in reality. Now, I want you to listen to the battle theme of its sequel. This theme is called Strepitoso Fight. It's instantly much less busy and much more grounded than Sophisticated Fight. Estelle's still young and you can hear it, but she's grown in both strength and maturity. She now has a very clear goal in mind and she has to accomplish it no matter what. This is a theme for the same character, and you can hear that it's the theme for the same character, but you can also hear how she's grown since the previous game. And I don't consider it cheating to say that regular battle themes can represent opponents as much as they can allies. Take Xenoblade 1's expansion, Future Connected. This is the default battle theme for that game. Like I talked about before, it both establishes the tone of the expansion as a consequential but ultimately relatively relaxed adventure, and perfectly represents Melia's poise and maturity relative to the base game. But when taking on enemies called Fog Beasts, which I'm gonna count as regular enemies here, this is the battle theme. It's more consequential, frantic, and musically different from the regular battle theme. That's because the Fog Beasts are this imposing, dangerous, and unfamiliar force you have to overcome. They're foreign, they're alien, and they're a little bit frightening. But notice how it doesn't sound overwhelming. Our heroes are ultimately still in control here. Now, I think it's important to mention that the regular battle theme can also be affected by gameplay. Take SMT5. Once you get into a battle, the theme is this mysterious sounding intro. It represents the setting, but it's completely non-violent. But once First Blood's drawn, the music instantly becomes this more traditional, albeit incredibly good, battle theme. But If the player talks to the demon, the track once again dynamically changes to a much less abrasive talk song. This is all still part of the battle, but changing the song based on the happenings of the actual battle itself makes the experience much more immersive. If these songs are meant to represent the current mental state of the player character during the battle, it makes complete sense that non-violent exchanges are accompanied by audibly non-violent tracks. Plus, it's just way less grating this way. I mean, yeah, you're still gonna hear the theme a lot, but it'll always be interspersed by bits of change depending on the status of the battle. The most classic example of this would be something like a low HP song. To be honest, at the end of the day, as important as all of that really is, the most important thing will always just be being fun to listen to. With how often you hear the regular battle theme, if you're able to even stand listening to it after rolling credits on the game, it's more than served its purpose in my opinion. There's a reason so many of these tracks become incredibly iconic representations of their home games, because musically, other than maybe like the title screen, nothing is as important a representation of your game than the humble, regular battle theme. Next time you're playing an RPG, maybe listen a little more closely to why and how the developer picked out the song you'd hear every time you have to fight a slime. But before you do, make sure to subscribe.